A lot of great things have happened around here in the last 2.5 years, but I wasn't prepared for this. What happens when, like, one of your heroes comes over to the house and it just so happens he builds up most of your guitars, and you don't know what to do, and you're like all awkward, and you don't know how to proceed. I know what you do. You make a Guitar Stuff with John video.
Guitar Stuff with John!
Wow, this is awesome. Thank you. Oh, man. Well. This is possibly, well, not possibly, it isn't possibly. This is definitely the most special edition of Guitar Stuff with John that I have ever shot to date. We've had some great, videos over the last 2.5 years. Introduced people to great guitars, played music, did all those things.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But today, I'm sitting here with the one and only, the maestro himself, Robin Boucher. And when we found out he was coming, I said there's only one thing that we have to do, and that is to tell the whole story of how we met, how I discovered these guitars, and why I love the guitar so much, as you already know, and why I love this man so much. And so we're just going to get to do something today I think's never been done. We were talking about it before we started shooting. There's lots of people that have lots of guitars, but how often do you actually know the person that built it, or even have a friendship with the person that built it? Like, it's pretty immense, right? Those relationships are really rare in this business.
Yeah, and I would like to take the opportunity, JP, to thank you so much for welcoming me here at home.
Yeah.
It's a great honor for me.
Yeah, me too.
I'm so excited.
I am too. So, we're gonna start at the very beginning. So, this all began at a festival in Canso, Nova Scotia, Stan Rogers Folk Festival, and I had a brand new guitar that had come to me from a company, and it was a really nice guitar, but it was right off the bench. Never been anywhere. Got it to the festival, and like 100% humidity, raining.
Oh.
I played on stage, the rain was going like sideways. The next morning, the top of the guitar was just like that, and it was unplayable. So I had no other guitar with me. So there was a mutual friend of ours from Halifax that was repping Boucher, and I knew him for a long time, and he came to me and said, "You ought to try these guitars." And I was so frustrated with my guitar failing. He passed me a Dreadnought he had, and I played it, and I thought, well, this great guitar. I looked at him, and I said, I was kind of picking on him at the same time, and I said, well, it's just one more good Dreadnought. I never made a big deal about it, right? Because I was so frustrated I had no instrument. So I was due to play a show that afternoon, and it was a big one. It was a Guitar Summit style show, so I was on stage with me, Tony McManus, Beppe Gambetta. I don't know who else was on, but there was a fourth player. Like, these guys were heavyweights, and I'm literally sitting there with my amplifier and no guitar. Here comes our buddy.
Big problem.
He's carrying a little yellow case, right? And he hands me this guitar, and this is the part where I'm going to introduce you to another man on the team. Guillaume De Silva is going to be here wrangling for us, and he's not going to escape. Not going to escape the camera for long. Our buddy pulled the case open and handed me this guitar, and I looked at it. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting, right?" And I plugged it into the amplifier and hit a single chord, and the sound exploded out over the audience. and the other three guitar players just all leaned over simultaneously. What was that? They're all looking at me, right? And that's how I came into this guitar, which became known as the Ivory Girl, because the top was so white, and it's aged a bit. It's darkened a little,
Yeah.
but it was snow white, and it has Bubinga sides and back. And so I didn't know you at all at this point. Didn't know Robin from Adam. So tell me, before we go any further, tell me something about this guitar.
Yeah. Well, I expect that you also not be familiar with Bubinga.
Yes, I had never used it before.
Yeah, and you know what? I discovered Bubinga in 2008, so 2008.
Wow.
I was in a dealer store in Montreal, I guess. No, in Levy.
Oh, right.
Levy. And I take a look at the wall, and I saw a kind of G200.
Yes.
But it was a G100.
Okay.
And when
yeah.
I turned the guitar and I see the back, I said, what's that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we discovered things, you know,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
So I asked the salesman, what is that? So he said, because I thought it was a kind of a shaded mahogany.
Yeah, it looks like that.
It looks like
It's very
that.
deceiving.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And he said-
whenever I look at it, I always see the pink in it.
Yeah.
It has a rose
Yeah,
color in it.
pinkish color.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful wood. And he said, well, it's made from Bubinga. Ah, okay. I knew Bubinga, but not as much
In a
as
guitar.
in a guitar as
Yeah.
Stonewood.
Yeah.
And I play one chord.
yeah.
Boom. Oh.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, okay, I should make guitars at least an OM and a dreadnought with that wood,
Yes.
just to know what the sound could be,
Yes.
what we can get from that.
Yep.
And well, see,
Yeah.
it's the result.
Yeah. And the other
uh,
thing too is that
yeah.
I've been playing your guitars for years and years, and never realized that technically this instrument is a hybrid. It's not really a true OM.
Okay,
It has components that you've taken from
Yeah, you're right.
from several things.
You're right.
and that makes it even more exceptional, because it's not the normal OM.
It's not a normal
No.
OM. Yeah.
And you can't tell really by looking at it. As a guitarist, it feels like an OM. It plays like one. But it has so much more volume and body and playability. The action on these guitars are really soft, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us about that? I'm curious, because we had
Well.
this conversation last night. I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was talking few seconds ago that I was in a dealer store, when I discovered Bubinga as a tone wood. But as probably the people know that Boucher Guitars is not a big company.
No.
We built around 400, 500 guitars a year.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
just to put things in perspective.
Yeah.
So, can you imagine if I have a single O, a double O, a triple O, 14 fret body, 12 fret body, a jumbo, a super jumbo, an OM,
Yeah.
a dreadnought shoulder,
Yeah.
with a
Slope shoulder. Yeah.
If we have 40 dealers and they sell
All
some
of those.
guitars,
Yeah.
okay, we can get all the models
No.
on the wall.
No. It's too many.
So if the dealer placed an order for an OM, 14 fret to body, and the people go there to try the guitar, you know what? They will tell to the salesman, do you have the triple O?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the dealer doesn't have the right model
Yeah.
in stock.
Yeah.
So in order to help my dealers and the consumers,
Yes.
I decided to come with an OM hybrid, which is a mix-up of the best quality, the best advantages
Yep.
of an OM
Yes.
and a triple O,
Yep.
14 fret to body.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yes.
Okay. So
Because a triple O would normally be 12 to body, right? 12 fret to body.
no,
Most
not-
times.
most, yeah,
Yeah.
most. But if we talk, for example, a Martin,
Yes.
a triple O,
Can be 14, yeah.
14,
Yeah.
and an OM, 14
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
But the scale length is different.
Right.
Okay, the OM has a short scale, and the triple O has a short scale, and the OM has a long scale.
Right.
Well, I'm not a big fan of short scale guitar
Yeah.
because it's way more difficult to tune,
Yes.
to stay in tune, because more the scale is shorter,
Yeah.
more the intonation is
Bad.
so okay,
yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah.
So I wanted to keep the long scale for its sound properties.
Yes.
The long scale offers more beefer,
Yeah.
low ends, more resonance than the short scale.
Yeah.
Okay, and but the triple O is a little bit more comfy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Play
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
So the difference in depth of
The body.
the body.
Yeah.
So I took the advantages, like I said,
Yep.
of the triple O for the upper bout
Yes.
depth,
Yeah.
and same
Yes.
thing for the OM.
So it's almost cut in half that way between the two guitars.
Exactly.
Right? It's amazing.
yeah.
When
And,
you look at
uh,
it, you can see. It doesn't look just exactly like an OM. It looks like something else. But
Yeah.
you can't. It's one of those things. If you look at it quickly, as a guitar player,
Yeah.
you never see it. Just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You never until you.
And sometimes the difference is not that big.
No.
We can easy listen at a false note.
Yes.
When somebody sings.
Yes.
But the difference is
Yes.
a coma.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah,
coma.
yeah.
But we know that
Exactly.
he is
He's
singing
off.
flat or,
Yeah.
or short. So the difference between the OM hybrid and the triple O and the OM
Yeah.
is not that much big.
No.
But we can feel it.
Yes.
We can see it right now, right away. For example, you talked to me about the string spacing.
Yes.
The special string spacing that
Yeah.
Boucher has.
It's
So
crazy.
it's
good.
an hybrid. It's a mix up of the actual string spacing of a Martin OM
Yes.
and a triple O.
Yeah, and it's perfect. Like
Yeah.
every time I play one of your guitars, and then switch to one of my other guitars,
Yeah.
I can notice how much harder it is to play on another guitar after
Yeah.
you've used these, because the string spacing for me has so much room and space, and it just makes more sense. You have more area to make a pick stroke and create tone,
Yeah.
as opposed to something that's narrower and you're fighting to get the pick in there where you want it.
You're right.
You need space to make that pick stroke, right? And
Yeah.
these guitars have it in spades. And it doesn't seem to, it never impedes you on the neck. The neck is the nut is the perfect width. The neck feels right all the way to the body, right?
Well, the width at the top
Yeah.
nut is the same width as an OM.
Right.
And the width at the 12th fret is the same width of a triple O.
See? This is amazing. This is what,
Okay?
yeah, this is what makes them so amazing. I want to play this thing.
And yeah.
This is the best spokesman ever. It
This
just
man can play, isn't it?
just goes and goes and goes, too. That's the Ivory
yeah.
Girl. So, to end that part of the story, I played the guitar, of course, on the show. And our friend came and said, I'm here to get the guitar. And I said, no, you're not. You can't have it. You can't have it. I said, I want you to call this guy. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know anything about you. I said, call this guy and find out how much he wants for the guitar. I'm buying it. I'll write you a check right now. And he wanted, well, I need it to show people. I said, no, you don't. I'll show it to people from the stage. And so that's how it happened. And I never did actually talk to you then at that point. He talked to you. I sent the check along, took the guitar. And then, about 2 weeks later, I found out, and it was really weird how this happens. Like, and it's an amazing, the story behind our friendship. It was so unlikely that it happened the way that it did. I find out 2 weeks later that you're coming to Nova Scotia, to the Bluegrass Festival in Truro. And thank you, sir. I went into the display. This is one of the funniest stories ever.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I went into the display, and I there was a whole bunch of your guitars there. Everybody was playing. The young kids were coming around, cutting heads with me, And I picked this guitar off the table, and I never put it down. I was in there for about an hour playing with all these young fellas. And of course, by this time we had met, and I realized it was just the most lovely man I ever met in this business. And I'm playing the guitars, and he's looking over at me every once in a while, smiling and giggling. And I got up I handed him the guitar. I said, "Well, I have to buy this one too." And he goes, "Well, JP," he said, "I can build you a guitar like that one." And I was like, "No, I want this one." And he goes, "Oh, no, 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 no." No. And he says, "I can't give you this one because I dropped a tool me on the top right there, and there's this little tiny dent. It's like so tiny." Yeah. He says, "I made a boo-boo."
Yeah.
And so, Boo-Boo was born.
I can't sell you that guitar.
Yeah, you sure did, though. Boo-Boo was born. This was called Boo-Boo.
Yeah.
And I said, "No, I want it because that mark's there, I want it. I have to have it." And so this is a mahogany dreadnought, sunburst top. I mean, you will notice that these guitars are well used. Guillaume wanted to clean them. I said, "Nope, they are used. They should look like I'm using them." And because this guitar, this is one of my prized possessions.
It's a workhorse.
It's a workhorse, and it's come so many places with me, all over the world. I've been in Scotland, all over the States, all over Canada. It's the only Boucher I keep in a Calton case because I fly with it.
Okay.
Because I don't want to go. When I'm traveling, I usually really have to have a Boucher. it's important. If you're going to go play a huge whatever European festival or something, you have a great guitar. So that's what it's been since I've owned it.
And we all know what kind of bad stories we can get when we flew with guitars on
Yeah.
on the airplane. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your. This is really interesting too. Last night we pulled this guitar out, and I've had this for 6 years now or so, and we noticed how different the neck profile was on this guitar from the modern Bouchers, which are evolving constantly. You hear me talk a lot about Robin's recipe that he's been perfecting for years, and it's a never-ending thing, isn't it? It's something you can't stop doing it. You can't decide to go, well, I'm not moving any further. You have to keep figuring stuff out, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
We have to focus on evolution.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and keep and be able to keep what we do very correctly.
Yes.
Because sometimes when we want to go further, it's we reach the opposite that
Yes.
So we have to take care, and but yeah, it's the part of evolution of any guitar companies.
So tell me briefly
Yeah.
your philosophy on the Dreadnought. Because your Dreadnoughts sound different than any Dreadnoughts I've ever heard. They can range too. That's the lovely thing about your guitars. They can range from Boo Boo. This guitar sounds like it's 60 years old. It's just beautiful, warm, and then the other side, the things that you do make the guitars are even louder,
Yeah.
with a huge midpoint like designed to destroy banjos and mandolins, right? And they can just eat everything in the room. And you walk that line between making your Dreadnoughts have personality. You know what I mean? They're not just one trick ponies. I play all kinds of music on this guitar, whether it be bluegrass, Celtic, fingerstyle, all those things, because it will do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it's interesting that your Dreadnoughts have so much. There's so much. They're so full of color, right? And depending on the tone which you're using and these things.
I would say depending on the series.
Yes, exactly. Bluegrass or
Do you
studio
agree?
goose.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
The difference in terms of tone and playability, overtones, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It comes more from the series than the Dreadnought or
Yes.
the size, the body size.
Yes, because
itself.
the bracing is different in
Yeah.
the studio goose and
Yeah.
the bluegrass
Yeah.
goose are braced differently.
Yeah.
The bluegrass guitars are braced for medium strings,
Yeah.
which I never recommend to anyone.
Yeah.
Even your bluegrass guitars, I put lights on them because they
can.
sound fantastic.
You can. Yeah.
And this guitar has lights, and this
Yeah.
is a studio goose.
Well, you play only with lights.
Yes, always, nothing else.
Yeah.
They have more volume, more projection, more playability, everything. Better action. You could use the others, but you're really not doing yourself a very
Yeah,
good
I can
service.
develop on that maybe later.
Yes.
But if you want, if we want to keep the focus on this specific guitar,
Yeah.
right now, what I will say is this Dreadnought comes from our studio series.
Yes.
Okay, so it's voiced and designed to play in studio or on stage.
Yes.
So that's why we have the low ends are beefier
And warm.
and warmer
So warm.
than our bluegrass.
Yes.
It's I will almost speak maths. You know,
Yes.
it's depending the application you have to do
Right.
with the guitar.
Yeah.
So if you play in a bluegrass band, you need a guitar with a lot of projection.
Yeah, immediate projection.
and focus on mids.
Yeah.
Low mids and mids.
Yeah.
Boom, straight
Yeah.
to the point.
Yeah.
When you play on the couch
Yes.
or
In front of a
in
microphone
front
like
of
this.
the microphone,
Yeah.
exactly, in studio. The studio series, That's why I call it
Yeah,
studio
yeah.
series. The result is way better
Yes.
thing
Yeah.
for that specific application.
Yes.
Yeah.
And coming, as you might know, because I've talked about it, from an excellent guitar player. Robin brings a lot of his experience because he's a player, and he can sit down and play a guitar, and he does things that I don't. He's taught me things, which was really funny, because he's a guitar head like I am, and he reaches into an instrument for looking for what it can do. I'm the same way. I pick up a guitar, not necessarily, well, that's a pretty guitar, or that's a whatever. I want to see what it does
Yeah.
when I do what I do, right? I want to see how it responds to how I play. And you're the same way. Every player's the same way. They want to know what the guitar brings out of them and what they bring out of it.
Exactly,
Right?
and how she will conduct us
Yes.
to play with.
Yes, and to inspire you to play. Right?
Yeah.
But this guitar, I've had this thing everywhere. Everywhere. It's famous. This guitar is actually famous. I go to gigs, and fans walk up and go, "So are you playing Boo Boo tonight?"
Yeah.
They actually know her by name. Of course, I do talk about the guitar. I talk about you and these instruments almost everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And but just listen to the clarity of this guitar. Just immense. It has so much color. Like
Yeah,
I can
color.
pull anything I want out of this guitar for voice. It can be
Jazzy tone.
and then it can be and she can be right in your face, right? And it never gets scared. It's always the same.
Yeah.
It has the same. It doesn't matter what you do, it's going to deliver. And this is the best guitar, one of the best guitars I've ever played in my life. It just never gets old. Every time I pick it up, it's like boo boo. Now I can go to work, right? It's just one of those things. It's a workhorse.
Yeah.
And so that's that one. Now the next one? Oh yes. So as time was starting to go on, of course, after I bought Boo Boo, I realized that, well, it was about that time when I really started telling everybody that I knew about you, and because I just loved you. As soon as I met you, it was like we knew each other 100 years, and the guitars were just ridiculous. So I was like, this is like, I got to tell people about this. So I got people like Bill Elliott involved, and like everybody I knew was like, you've got to see these guitars that come out of Boucher-sur-Mer, Quebec. You have to see these things. And you got proactive there at one point and said, we're going to go down to a recording studio in Quebec City and do videos, performance videos for all these guitars. And so I said, where do I sign up?
Because I was impressed by you, you know. Hey, man, that.
So it was we were pretty mutually excited, I'll tell you. So get down there and find out you've got 27 guitars on the floor.
Yeah.
we shot 27 videos
And
in
remember,
one day.
Yeah, and remember that we built 400 guitars a year.
Yes.
So I kept the production of a whole month.
Yes,
For
for one day.
For one day.
And oh my God! So Yeah. So I walk into this place, and of course, it was just ridiculous. I had seen 4 or 5 of your guitars, realistically, right, and played them,
Yeah.
and I knew they were. I hadn't seen a bad one, right. But I walked into. Now, me, I'm an old timer, right? I've been in this business for 40 years, and I know there's nothing's perfect, right? And I walked into that room and I thought, holy crap! I played 27 of this band's guitars. God, I hope I don't run into a bad one, because I thought I would. I thought there's no way that this guy can build the 30 guitars I've seen, and they're all awesome. That's not possible, right? And I've made videos about that. You guys have watched it. Every one of those 27 guitars melted my face. I couldn't believe it. From the Dreadnought to the OMs to remember the Jumbo?
Jumbo,
the Jumbo 12, I think we had that day, or there was a 12.
We had a 6 and a 12.
6 and a 12.
Yeah.
6,
Yeah.
4 or 5.
It was unbelievable.
Oh my gosh,
Unbelievable. I couldn't get over. I was floored. I just thought, how is this even possible? I knew this is just not possible, but it was. All of them. Every one of them. 27 guitars. They videoed me in like a beautiful recording studio. Mics everywhere. And I was just after the thing, I was just like sitting in the control room, listening to the playback of all those recordings, and I kept thinking, man, like every one of those guitars is just eating the mic and just full. And the guy was like, no compression, hardly any EQ, and I can testify that myself in my own studio when I record these guitars. There's no EQ on them. They're 2 feet away from the microphone, all of them. 2 feet away, no microphone, touch of compression, end of story.
Well,
And they sound awesome.
and optimally, it should be like that.
Exactly.
We don't have mid and treble and bass button on the acoustic guitar.
Yes.
So our job is to make a guitar, with the better flat response.
Yes.
In terms of frequencies. Yeah.
Yep. So this little girl here
Yeah.
became another of my most
Third one.
prized possessions. And I swore I wasn't going to get emotional about this. I'm going to try not to. So at the end of this session, I was standing outside having a cigarette, and I had fallen in love with this guitar.
Yeah.
I had never played a small body guitar really in my life that I could find that I could use. They just aren't usable for me because they don't have the projection, they don't have the meat and the resonance and the playability of even an OM or a Dreadnought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't keep my hands off this guitar all that day, and I kept going back to it and kept going back to it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I said, this guitar matches Boo Boo. We should call her Yogi. Because she's little, but she yells like a bear. And so the whole day went by, and I was outside having a cigarette, and Robin came out and tapped me on the shoulder, and he goes,
Hey.
I want you to have Yogi
Yeah.
for doing this for me. And
Yeah.
you take her home.
Yeah.
Well,
You deserve
boys,
it, man.
I lost
Oh,
my
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I lost it. And this guitar, I even have, as you'll notice, I had a custom armrest built by Dakota McNamara, my good friend, which, makes some difference, but this guitar is so lively, it doesn't make a great difference, but it makes enough that you notice it. For me, as the owner, I notice it. And plus it protects the top a little bit there, but this guitar ended up again on the road with me all the time. I fell in love with this, and so much so that I quit playing certain songs because it's a 12 fret to body. The stuff I needed to play up here, I took it out of my show because I sacrificed actual good numbers to play this guitar on stage. There's why. The Boucher temper.
Yeah.
My God, that's a wicked guitar. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's a Rosewood triple O.
Well, a triple O 12 fret to body, to me, it's a finger picking guitar
Yes.
for the finger
But I
style. Okay.
flat pick this constantly, though.
So the string spacing is wider
Yes.
than the other one,
Yeah.
than the hybrid.
Yeah.
So it's 2.37 something.
Yeah.
So
Also, something I don't notice it, but I feel it. It feels really good. It's wider than the OM, but it doesn't
Not that
make
much,
it doesn't
yeah.
make you go, well, this is too wide.
No.
It just feels like you get all the room in the world to do what you have to do. Right?
Yeah.
And it's a more natural pick stroke and a more natural placement for your fingers when you're
Yeah.
playing fingerstyle. For me, it is.
Yeah.
And I'll notice a lot of guys that when I show them these guitars, that's the first thing they say. Man, it's easy to play.
It's the result of many trials.
Yes.
About the string spacing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean.
Thank you
That's before.
for saying that, JP.
Yeah, like that's what I meant before. I know you're a trial and error man. You try things and try and
Yeah.
experiment and try.
Evolution.
It has to be done.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the greatest compliments for this guitar is just how easy this thing's to play. It's so easy to play. And
Even if it's a long scale.
yes,
It's a long scale.
yes,
Yeah. To get that beefy low mids.
yeah,
You know, if you hit the A string,
yeah.
yeah,
It has it in
takes,
spades.
it takes the long scale
Yeah.
on the 12
Yeah.
fret.
Yeah.
It's mathematical.
Yes.
Physical.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's amazing. I just love this guitar. I've become so attached to it. So attached to it that the story continues with this guitar a little later.
Oh yeah.
A little later. So there's Yogi. So I was going to visit. I was starting at this point. Over these years, you know, Robin and I just became closer and closer friends. We were always just talking about guitar design and shops and people I was meeting, and so I would start to stop by the shop.
Yeah.
I would go by the
Visited-
shop all the time. When I was going to Ontario to play, I'd always stop
Yeah.
at Berthier-sur-Mer,
Always.
go in the shop. So one day we're in there. I was playing guitars for him, and there was a pile of wood, raw back and sides, laying on the table, and I said, "What's that, Robin?" And he goes, "Oh, that's a really good Cocobolo. I just got that."
Beautiful.
He
and
said, "Look at it, look at it." So I was,
And hold.
yes.
Super hold.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was flipping through the 4 or 5 sets. It was not very many, and I
Hey.
picked up the set of wood
Of
that
course.
looked just like that. so yeah, this I actually had this in my hands before he turned it into a guitar. Like, it's just amazing, just beautiful, the most beautiful set of wood. So I said, "You'll have to build." I said, "This is the one. Build me an OM out of this." And then somewhere along the way, he had a copy of my album called "The Chance," where I'm throwing all these red dice towards the camera, right? And he said, "Just checking on your birthday. I just wanted to check out your birthday." I didn't know why he was asking me. And when I got the guitar, he had inlaid these red dice in the neck, and the numbers on the dice, the pips on the dice, are my birthday, 01-23-69. And I nearly fell out when I saw this guitar. And again, this thing is, again, another OM, same design as the Ivory Girl, except out of a different set of tone woods. Much like a grand piano. So much sparkle and bottom.
So now you know why I wanted to make a unique guitar for that unique guy.
Oh man. So yeah,
Oh.
what a tremendous instrument. And again, this one hasn't been on the road as long as the others. I actually wore this thing out quickly. I wore my G slot out on my nut from detuning it so much because it loves those tunings. And so the G string started to lay down on the frets, and I put her in the case, and it took a few months for me to get where I could take it somewhere here and get it fixed. And I didn't like carrying it on the road to get it to you, so I was just like, I'll get it to Doug, and Doug fixed it, right? But incredible.
The name?
Oh, Tarzan. This is Tarzan. Good Lord, I almost forgot. Yeah, because she's full of exotic wood and yells really loud. Much nicer than that. Tarzan. There you go.
Can you imagine, JP, how much I can feel privileged to see all those guitars, those Boucher guitars right behind me?
Yeah. Imagine how I feel. I own them.
Well, yeah.
It's amazing.
Hey.
It's pretty special, isn't it? It's pretty special. So, the story continues. I love Tarzan so much. I said to Robin, I called you on the phone one day. I'll never forget it. I was driving him to a gig. I said, Robin, I want you to build me my dream guitar. And he said, well, what would you like? I said, well, kind of thinking I want a jumbo. He said, I will build you a tremendous jumbo.
Yeah.
And it didn't take that long. It was only a few months, 4 or 5 months
I was
maybe.
pumped.
Yeah. And I told him I wanted maple, and I said I want some bling on it, and he said, don't you worry, it'll be awesome. And I went to the shop, and lo and behold, opened the case and saw this. This is probably the most unique jumbo guitar I've ever seen, because it's the sound of it and its personality. It's a guitar that takes 20 minutes to come to life. It's that kind of guitar, and the more you play it, the better it sounds. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Look at the back of this guitar. Flame maple, and
flame maple,
and an amber finish, not a blonde finish, an amber finish. And I thought, man, oh man, did he ever nail this? And this guitar I called the Enola Gay because it drops the bomb. So
it's the first guitar you have from me
that was truly custom made too.
Yeah, truly custom made.
Yeah.
Torrefied top.
Torrefied top.
First time.
Yes.
Abalone trim.
Yeah. Gold pack.
Gold is 510 Godos tuners. Yeah.
The first guitar we made with an ultimate pack.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. That guitar.
I didn't know that.
Guitar to take most pictures of the website.
She has the
Right.
ultimate pack.
Yeah, this guitar actually ended up being in the promo shots of the company for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it was so beautiful. It still is. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I love this thing.
For the ultimate guitar player.
Well, I don't know about that, but it sort of makes me sound ultimate when I play it. It's just like nothing else. It doesn't sound like any other jumbo. It has a whole bunch of qualities to it that don't belong on a jumbo.
She doesn't have that kind of scoop in the middle.
Right. It's pronounced. And as you play it, the two ends start to move. The bass end starts to come up and get sweet, and the treble starts to drop and get sweet. And then there's this little party hat in the middle, the mid-range, right?
After 20 minutes of playing.
After 20 minutes of playing.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time to do that, but initially she's still awesome.
She needs a warm-up.
It needs a warm-up, and I love that about her. That's one of the reasons I love this guitar.
king of triplets. Hey,
Man,
I love it.
I love the way this guitar. Hear the
overtone, eh?
and the syrup on that.
Maple syrup.
Listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
notes, yeah.
The A just coming all by itself. Like that's the kind of overtones it has, and it is awesome to record this guitar in front of this mic. Like I'm sure that this guitar, when you're watching this video, this guitar sounds differently to the people watching than it does to us right here, and that's not like any other guitar in the room. It translates through a microphone so well. It's just it was built to record it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's where it's a studios. Yeah. So we always try to keep, the guitar sound in order to
The
be
Enola
recorded.
Gay.
Yeah.
The Enola Gay.
Yeah.
Yep. So then I got this job, which was quite important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was asked by
Oh, yeah.
Symphony Nova Scotia to do a 3-night run of a concert of all Gordon Lightfoot songs that would be arranged. I already had many of them. And then Lightfoot himself called me and said, I really hope you do this because no one has ever done this. No one has ever done a concert of my music with full orchestra. So I had to say yes, right? And I had no good 12-string. You can't play Lightfoot without 12-string. So we were it was Kemp Shore, wasn't it? Yes. We were at Kemp Shore Music Festival.
Yeah.
This is going further. The years are passing, right? Now he's coming out to the festivals with me. So we were at Kemp Shore, which is my festival. They started that festival for me. Yeah. With the understanding that it would be my homecoming festival and I'd play it every year and I helped them book the talent and all that stuff. It's been fantastic. 16 years now, I think it is. 17. Anyhow. Didn't have the guitar. Had no 12-string. I'm looking at Robin. I was like, Maestro, I got to play this thing and I don't know what I'm going to play. This old crappy guitar I got, which was really bad. I won't say what it was. Yeah. It was an old guitar. It wasn't very good.
And you said it to me a couple of months before the Camp Shore Festival.
Yeah. And so he shows up with this guitar. and another anomaly, an OM body 12-string. And the anomaly is, wait till you hear this thing. It sounds like a jumbo. It's so loud and so big. And, of course, this guitar was named Lightfoot. There could be no other choice, right? So, and I tune my 12s. It's mahogany, of course.
Mahogany. Sides. Yeah, to get the mids right in the face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bound in maple, as most of the guitars are. And I always tune my 12s 1 fret flat, because I just like them better there.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the reason that most people used to do that is to create less stress, less tension.
Less tension. Yep.
But these guitars, no problem. Put them in at standard, no problem. Nothing happens. They'll go right to standard, no problem. Yep. But I still love the sound of it.
Can I say that you can? Yes, the people can stay in the standard tuning.
Yeah.
But it's very important that they keep the light string on
yes,
that.
Yes.
Not the medium or heavy.
No. Light strings only. This is the nicest 12. guitar. What a guitar. Yeah, it's just amazing. And the sad part is that I don't take this guitar on the road ever. I would never. It's just too valuable for me. I save it for the studio,
Okay.
and plus another. This is nothing bad, but it does not have my pickup system in it. So before I took it on the road, I would replace what's in it with a K&K for one thing, but I never have seen the need of putting this in jeopardy. It's such a rare guitar, a 12-string that sounds like that and plays like that, and as little as I use them live. I would always have it if I was doing Lightfoot things or stuff like that, no question. But to just take it as candy in my regular show, I would never jeopardize it for that. So unless I had a really specific job, this guitar is enshrined here in the studio. It stays here, and it's recorded with all the time. This thing appears on just about every record I've produced in this studio since I had this guitar. Almost every record has this guitar on it somewhere, as rhythm or lead. Yep. Yep. Just giant cloud of candy goodness. Yeah. Candy cloud. Lightfoot, the 12-string. Yes, sir. Another trip to your shop. And I noticed.
Oh my God!
In the priming room, that there was this lonely little guitar hanging in there, like for no reason, just all by herself. And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's a parlor guitar."
Yeah.
Robin doesn't make
why
parlors.
that guitar stands alone on the wall?
Yeah,
Robin.
yeah.
I remember.
What? You make parlors? And he goes, "Well, I really don't. That one I don't like. I'm still perfecting it."
Yeah.
And I said, "That one's no."
It's a prototype.
I said, "No, let me play that." So he pulled it down, and there we are. This is the ladybird because she's so tiny and purty. This is one of my favorite guitars. I have actually toured with this. This guitar has gone on tour with me and done my whole show. No problem. Yeah, and people love it. Sound men love it. Guitar players love it. They look at it and go, "Wow!" Because, again, there it is again.
Different voicing.
Listen to how long it goes.
It's a little beast.
Like, it's just a magic little guitar. And the same thing, like it's just. Now tell me, did this? I know this is the prototype, and the new ones are not like this. Structurally, they're not. But did you take any liberties with the design of a parlor? Did you make any choices for yourself about how to design this guitar, or did you just go, "I'm going to make a traditional parlor"?
Yeah, it's a traditional parlor.
It is.
Yeah. It is.
Well, that says something because most.
But the scale is a little bit shorter.
Oh.
Usually the scale is 24.75 on a parlor, and I went with 24.50.
Wow.
Just
Yes.
so a quarter of an inch shorter, and in that way, the guitarist must play softer than usual because you know, and it brings that particular sound.
Yes.
You know, like it's a small piece. It's a small piece of meat, but it's the filet mignon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the mid frequencies are right there all there.
Yeah.
And if you don't push that much the guitar, it sounds like
Yeah.
you played
Yeah.
a few seconds ago.
Yeah, that's what I love about
and,
it too. It
The
will.
mistake I did with this was we put and I don't know why, but we put a pyramid bridge on that guitar,
Okay.
and it was supposed to be a bridge,
Right.
the regular bridge.
Yes.
And so if we come with a new parlor with the pyramid bridge, we have to change
Change the
X
bracing. Yeah.
bracing. Yeah.
But since I've had it, and it has moved up and down,
Yeah.
it's now settled and stabilized.
Yeah.
It's nearly flat now, because I've just let it
Yeah,
be here.
it's
and
like
I've,
a flat top guitar,
Yeah.
a real flat top
yeah,
guitar.
and I've played it a lot, so I think that helped it just kind of settle into where it should be and stay there.
Yeah.
Because it's aged beautifully. There's nothing wrong with it at all. There's so much color, and it'll take a beating.
Right.
Like I get my normal huge flat pick and play tunes on this, and I've done it with guys playing dreadnoughts, and cut through them,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Wow, the thing is so loud." It's loud if you want it to be loud.
It's always a
Yeah.
spectral
Yeah,
affair.
exactly. You got to know which part of the sonic image you're
Yeah.
trying to punch through, right?
Yeah.
And you got to know your guitar, and that's the great thing about playing so many Bouchers. I know what they all do, and all of them have very similar things, and all of them have their own special things.
Yeah.
So it's like a tool belt for a guitar player. When I pick up this guitar, I know, okay, well, I'm gonna be really good at playing this type of tune, or
Yeah.
that type, or that tempo, or in this key, because this guitar has more overtones in that key than others,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Just brilliant. They're just like little adventures. You just pick it up and go on an adventure. And what a lovely instrument for just sitting around. I've written on this a lot. Because it's just nice to just go there and you're just sitting there. And ideas just flow out.
Yeah, it's romantic style.
Guitar's just barely there. It's just like so small it doesn't even interfering with you at all. It's just music coming out of your chest. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Stay with me. This is gonna be tough. This could be tough. This one. Okay, you ready?
All right.
All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3, cry.
All right, so the story of the next guitar is probably the most spectacular one, and it's actually the hardest one for me to tell because I've been in this business for so long, and played all kinds of different guitars, worked with many companies, and there was never a company that ever built a guitar for me that went into their production line. And I never thought that would ever happen. And we were at Merlefest when we first started discussing what a J.P. Cormier signature Boucher would even look like and how it would be. And there was a million ideas, and there was ideas and ideas. And Guillaume got involved and became, the point man for the whole design. And finally, we settled on this guitar right here. And basically, this is the greatest instrument I've ever owned. It's the most magical piece of equipment I've ever seen. And it's basically Yogi with a cutaway.
Yeah.
It became that because I loved Yogi so much.
Yeah.
You said that you need Yogi. Yogi is what you're most expressive on, so I'm going to build you a guitar that lets you access the whole fretboard, the whole, and a torrified top.
Yeah.
And all of these things, and just enough bling to make you happy. And so I didn't really even know what to expect, because obviously I knew what Yogi looked like, but I didn't know what this would look like. It's a different looking guitar again, and I was so excited. And I was waiting, and the conversations were going back and forth. And so finally the day came when this guitar was ready to be picked up. Found out that Robin was actually at a gig in a little town. What was the name of the town where you were playing that night?
I don't remember.
It was a little tiny town outside of...
it's Saint-Tite.
Yes.
Saint-Tite.
Yes.
Yep.
Go in, watch his sound check with his band. They're unbelievable. It's a Beatles band, like a 10-piece orchestra. He's doing all the guitar work, acoustic, electric. They sound like the Beatles. It's just unbelievable. And so I sat there and watched the sound check, and I was just sitting there, and Robin looked at me and said, "Would you do me a favor and sign these?" And he had all the labels from inside the guitar with my name on them. He said, "You sign all of these. These will go in the upcoming production." And I was just sitting there looking at these Boucher stickers, and I was signing my name, and I was like, this is the most surreal thing ever. I can't believe I'm doing this. My signature is going on these stickers. It's going to go in this man's guitars that I love so much. And so after sound check, we went up to the band room, and there was like a dormitory style room, and a couple of beds in there, and he had the guitar in there, and he goes, "Here it is," and he put the case, and I opened the lid of the case, and I just stood there. I'll never forget that moment.
Yeah,
I picked that thing out of the case, and I sat down on the bed, and he sat down on the other bed, and I was playing the guitar. He was playing the guitar, and I noticed there was a tear coming down my nose.
Drop on the guitar.
It dropped on the guitar.
I remember. That was...
And I looked over at him, and he had a tear
was
was
so
coming down
emotional.
like this, and I said, he looked at me and he goes, he's just shaking his head. He goes, "This is the best guitar I've ever made."
And it was the truth.
Yeah,
JP.
it was unreal,
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that as
Yeah.
long as I live. And so this guitar, again, has traveled. A low C. Oh, this thing has traveled everywhere with me. I call her the Mona Lisa because she's a work of art. You know how hard that is to play when you're crying?
Oh my God.
Holy shit. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Thank you.
Oh, I'm spraying.
Thank you.
Hey.
I don't even know what to say. What can you say about this guitar?
Yeah, I have a lot of to say.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Do you have the old evening. Well, okay, I will make it short, but I'm super proud about a few things. Okay,
Yes.
first, do you know that it's the only way to get a triple O 12 fret to body, so a guitar from our Heritage series
Yeah.
with a cutaway? The only way to get it is
The
your,
JP Cormier
your signature model.
Yeah. And what a
And-
brilliant design. Like, it's so well done. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful looking, and it feels good.
It feels good. Eh?
In there, there's all the room in the world. If I want to play up there, I do it all the time. I play this guitar constantly. Record with it.
And
it's-
I wanted her to sound like a jumbo.
Yep.
And I said in my mind, if we manage to do it, if the whole team managed to do it,
Yeah.
we will come with the jumbo pick guard.
Yes.
You know?
That's my favorite picker.
Yeah, I know.
I love that.
I know.
I know now they offer this with the pick
Yeah.
guard not on yet, so if you want it, you can put it or not,
Yeah.
which is cool too. But put it.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Put it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
As you like.
Yes.
Bling, Joe,
And
Diabolone Rosette.
this with the herringbone trim and the torrified top,
Yeah.
the color and the binding. Oh, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah. And about the headstock. The headstock is exclusive.
Yes.
Usually, the slotted headstock
Yes.
is
Flat.
flat.
Yes.
Really flat. So we mixed, for your signature model, we mixed the original
Yes.
Boucher headstock design, sorry,
Yep.
and the flat,
Yes.
the usual traditional
Yeah.
flat,
And my flower there in the middle.
and your
too.
flower.
And another thing I learned because of this guitar was because I was playing it so much when I would see you, I would have it. And so most you've probably seen me string all of these guitars at one time or another because I've just
Yeah.
been around you when I was doing it.
Yeah.
I learned how to string a slotted headstock from him, and nobody ever told me that until you told me.
Well, it could be tricky.
I
So,
know,
yeah.
but the way that you do it, it works every time, and I'm going to do actually a video. That's part
The
of another.
string
that's-
doesn't slip. Huh?
No,
Yeah.
never. And I'm going to do that in another video. But that's where I learned it from. He showed. You said, and then after I had strung the guitar the way he showed me, he was able to take the strings and pull them 8 inches off the top and stretch them all out, and they were just perfect. It stayed in tune forever until I changed them. Again, never slipped, never moved, but they don't anyway. These guitars just don't move. We pulled all 10 of these guitars out of the case today to do this video, had a tuner on the table, and I kept looking at Robin going, look at that, look. And I'd hit one string, it'd be A4, G440, every guitar.
Should be like that.
Some of them in the case for months because they're not in the rotation yet, right? And it's winter, and I'm protecting them, right? So this guitar here sat in the stand here for probably most of the summer because I recorded with it all year. And then it's got old strings,
Yeah.
and I pulled it out today. I tuned it without the tuner. I just tuned it down to open C, and then I looked over at the tuner and went, and she was 440, right down the line. Like, that's crazy. Guitars just don't do that. They move. Something has to give. But
Yeah. But when we build, JP, when we build guitars without any compromise, you
Yeah.
know, one-piece mahogany neck, good quality mahogany,
Yes.
quarter sound, ebony fretboard, ebony bridge. It is very helpful to keep the guitar in tune.
Yes. And that's the thing. I know a lot of people don't realize this, but many people look at your work and wish that you made more guitars. But the truth of the matter is, you can't, because if you try to make more with the size of the company the way it is and the quality that you have, the quality will slide, and you're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
So you do the 400, 500
500.
area, and that's where your quality is 100% all the time.
We can grow up.
Yes.
We can.
It has to expand,
but
though.
step by step,
Step by step.
years after years.
Yes.
So, and not thousands of,
No.
of guitars.
No.
You know,
And people expect that. When somebody builds guitars as good as you, and everyone is wanting them, they're going, well, why doesn't he do this and why does he do that? Because the quality is not going to be Robin anymore.
well, yeah,
Right?
It's you know, it's a different talent.
Yes.
Many big company can build really great guitars.
Yeah.
Okay. 100,000
Yes.
per year.
A year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they are really great.
Yeah.
And it's a talent that I don't have. It's a different talent.
Well, it's a factory, You're
it's
running a factory.
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
whole magic behind Boucher is that you and the team of people that you've gathered around you
Yeah.
that make all this happen. They understand what you want. They do it. The communication is always there. They're doing everything to fulfill your vision for the instruments, and the only way that's possible is with a small
Yeah.
family of people, right?
That's the key point.
Yeah.
You know, the key point is to keep the control
Yep.
on every step of the guitar building process.
Exactly.
It's-
So after the Mona Lisa came, I was
don't
on the
know.
phone one day, as I would be,
Oh,
seeing how he was doing, and now by this time, like, you and I, and Guillaume, the three of us have been working together, like, to just spread the gospel of these instruments. I do it all the time, every day, and we now have dealers that we know that I've brought in, and some that you've brought in that just you can't keep them stocked. They sell so many Bouchers they can't keep them, and. So there's a lot of conversation. Once in a while, I just want to talk to him. I just miss him, and I just want to call him up and say how he's doing. But I was noticing that there was some dreadnought guitars showing up at these shops that were blowing my head off, and I was like, "Wait a minute! I know I got
One, two, three,
I got Boo Boo. That was really my only dreadnought until this. So I was like, I want a new dreadnought. I want one of these newfangled ones.
Well, you told me that you want a new bluegrass
Yes,
dreadnought guitar.
exactly. And I said, I want a cannon. And
I want a
Robin
cannon.
goes,
Hey.
I won't build you a cannon. He says, I'll build you a rocket.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And he built this guitar for me, and this is what it's called, the Rocket. And this has become pretty well the standard bluegrass guitar from Boucher that everybody wants. Like Jake Workman is playing guitars like this. Jake Lozon.
Yeah, you spent
yeah.
the word, man, about
It's-
that guitar, that specific model.
Yeah, yeah. There's guitars like this one on the stage of the Opry now in the Ricky Skaggs band, right? Because you saw the need, the hole in the market for this type of instrument, which is really, people build bluegrass guitars all the time. There's hundreds of them, Martins, and everybody under the sun builds them. But you went and planned this out for it to do exactly what it's supposed to do, right? Which is just tear a banjo player apart and a mandolin player and drown everything else in the room out. That's what it does. strings are so bad on this thing. There's that temper. I talk about it a lot. How most normal guitars, I say normal. This has become normal to me, where normally you take a guitar and you would flatten the B string slightly so it's in tune in every chord that you play and leave the E string alone. But Robin's, every one of his guitars is the opposite. You don't flat the B string at all, and you sharpen the E string, and it makes every chord in tune. It's because of their whatever you. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does, but it's magic, sorcery. But yeah, this thing in a bluegrass jam, I've had it at festivals. It's just, what are you gonna do, right?
Well,
It's the nicest bluegrass guitar I've ever played. It's just. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it.
yeah. And the voicing is very different than
Very.
your Boo Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo Boo is really different than this. This
Yeah.
is designed for like hard driving,
yeah.
like real hard driving,
To
flat
deliver,
picking.
deliver
Yeah,
more. Mids.
more pressure, more sonic pressure than a
Yeah.
normal guitar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Beautiful rosewood. The rosewood is just gorgeous. And of course, I've just played the Madagascar that you brought me here yesterday. That's going out to be sold. Again, another just amazing guitar. But yeah, that's the Rocket, the bluegrass beast.
and you're talking about pressure. It's very important. You know, to get that volume, that projection capacity,
Yeah,
it's important to do not lower the action,
right,
because the action height put the pressure on the soundboard.
right.
So that's why usually the bluegrassers higher the action instead of lower the action. So it's way tougher to play.
Yeah,
But the projection is
Increase.
increased. Yeah.
Yeah.
The instrument play louder, way louder.
yeah. But I love lights. I mean, that's what's on this.
Exactly.
I play lights on it. The action is perfect.
Yeah.
It's
You
just,
keep the action at the optimal height.
and I never have a problem
the job.
with any of your guitars. They just don't move, so I never have to worry about. Once in a while, I can tell, like maybe 2 or 3 times in the whole time I've ever known you, I've had to pull my Allen key out and just go, and just tilt the neck back in the winter. When it starts to dry out, or in the summer rather, not the winter, but the summer, and it starts to get fat, and just go, and it just takes it down a millimeter, and it's perfect. Then in the winter, put it back, right? That's all I've ever had to do to these guitars. I've never replaced a saddle or move, like nothing. They just don't move. So the Rocket. So we're getting down to the last one. The last one, number 10.
Number 10. Can you
10
imagine?
guitars.
10 guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is the most recent addition to the fold, and I came by this one rather sneakily. And my YouTube family knows all about it because I put out a dud video. I reviewed this guitar and said that it was sold and going to the owner. Then the next day I revealed that was me. And this guitar came to me for review. I was supposed to take it to Glenn Gotel at G&G
Yeah.
Music. That's the number 1 Boucher dealer in the world, the G&G.
Absolutely.
And
You're right.
so, but when I played this guitar, I said, there's no way I can let this leave my house. So I took 10 guitars I had here. I had 10 guitars, an amplifier, like a couple of basses. I took all those things to Glenn's and said, sell these, because I'm not giving you the jumbo. And I bought the jumbo at retail, full price. Like, he gave me a little discount. I didn't care. I said, I want you to make your money. I want Rob to make his money. I'm buying this guitar. And then I didn't tell. How long did we keep it from?
Couple of weeks.
It was a couple of weeks we hid from you. I didn't want
Yeah.
you to know, right?
Hey,
And
what a surprise.
so there was no question in my mind that I would have to own this guitar, because just, first of all, look at it. It's an unbelievable work of art with this private stock, heavily spalted maple. It's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. And it's so light, this guitar, and so powerful. And the minute I strummed it, I just went, man, there's no way. It has to stay here. Unreal. It's a living thing, this guitar. Thank you. Again, thank you. You make me cry as much as I make you cry. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, that's all of them, boys. That's the family of Boucher. And it really is a family. It really is a family. And the people that work with you are blessed to work with you.
I have the best team, man.
This man who's trying to escape us right now.
Surrounded by the
This is Guillaume de Silva.
Yeah.
This is the point man for the entire world for these guitars. Yeah. And we couldn't do this without him. And he keeps our feet on the ground. And he designs great guitars. I know that.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
And if you're buying a Boucher, this is most likely who you're talking to, although you could easily talk to the man himself as well, because I know people tell me that all the time. They call over there and go, I can't believe it, Robin answered the phone. I'm emotional because these instruments are how I speak to the world, right? That's huge. They aren't just a thing that's in a case that's a tool. They are a tool, but they're also my voice. To everyone that hears me and everyone that owns one, it's their voice that they use that to speak to people.
Yeah.
Right?
Express themselves.
And you understand that. And that's why the guitars are so awesome, because that's your spirit in those guitars. Same way, right?
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time. You hold them, you're holding a piece of Robin's soul, his heart in your arms, right?
Yeah.
And from the old team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The whole team.
Everybody put his heart.
Yep. And it's a small team.
At my workshop, yeah.
It's a small
the
team.
guitars.
It's unbelievable how
Yeah.
few people are building these instruments, right?
Passionate people.
So, and looking to the future, I mean, I know you talk to everybody. You turn nobody away, and now I recently brought a guy to meet you, who is my best friend in my life. He's closer to me in my own blood. Is Dave Gunning.
Dave Gunning, yeah.
Yeah.
What a guy. What a nice guy.
I watched that meeting unfold, and I was almost in tears myself, because it was like watching two children meeting each other and with a brand new toy, and you go both vibrating. I never saw you so excited. And when I left there, I looked over at Dave, and he was just wiping his eyes. And what's wrong? He goes, man, that guy's beard is unreal. He says, I can't believe I just met him. Like he talked about you for 3 days, and then come to find out now you're talking about building. The team is going to build him an instrument. Yeah, which I think is awesome.
Well, based on his personal taste, because we spoke about guitars, and and his taste and the guitars he had and he has now and your guitar.
Yep.
And I said in my mind, man, that guy must play a Boucher guitar.
Yeah.
And I fall in love with him.
Yeah, he's a great
Directly.
Great guy.
Directly, yeah.
He's one of the nicest men I've ever met, Dave.
And yeah, Boucher Guitars will definitely build him a guitar.
That's
And
awesome.
and we hope that
I'm
he
so
will
I'm
enjoy.
so proud of that.
Yeah.
He's yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna be incredible to have that.
Yeah.
And another thing about it is he's Canadian.
He's
You
Canadian.
know,
Yeah.
the Americans love your instruments, but you always get behind the Canadians, just like you did. I was just in Toronto with you
Yeah.
at the Songwriters Hall of Fame induction. I got the bad luck of having to try to introduce this man to a crowd full of, attendees and VIPs and blah. And what do you say? I did the best I could,
You did good.
but it was
You did great.
it was awesome to see the look on these people's faces when
Yeah.
they saw the guitars that he built
Yeah.
for Alanis Morissette and
David
Foster and
Danielle Lavoie.
Danielle Lavoie
And
Jim
Valance.
Valance.
Jim Valance.
And then if you did this once before, and the people that you built for, like Bruce Coburn,
Yeah.
never puts your guitar down now.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, he's playing a Boucher. Neil Young
Yeah.
is playing your guitar.
And he
Like,
plays his too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and you build those guitars for nothing. That's you gift these things to these artists, right?
Well,
Like I
we
said-
are mandated by the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame
Yeah.
to build
them.
them
Yeah.
a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's not only paying tribute to Canadian talent, but paying tribute to the foundations that put me on the map and Dave on the map, and all the reason that I'm even sitting here talking to you right now is because of those people. And you're tributing them with these instruments. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
And they're masterpieces. I wanted every one of them I saw. I was like, oh my God, it's a nice guitar. I got to play all those guitars before the fellas played them and won them. Don't tell nobody. Just keep it between us and our million friends. So anyhow, I can't thank you enough again,
Hey.
Maestro.
I-
Guillaume, thank you.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
JP.
Please come back. Please come back and
I
see us.
will.
Yes.
I
do
will.
that.
We will.
Absolutely. Come back. And
So fun to be
as for you guys, I told you, been telling you for a long time now, this is the man. Now you know. Here he is. We showed you. We love you. We'll see you on the next time. I'm sure, like, the next video is going to probably, like, suck compared to this one because he won't be here. But it'll be me, and I'll have a guitar, and I'll have a thing, and I'll be like, blah, 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 thank you, thank you. So we'll see you next time on Guitar Stuff with John. Bye.
Bye.
I went upstairs. Just pointing.
What are you pointing at?
Just pointing at the yellow
That
thing.
camera.
The green.
Oh, I don't know.
I said, wait for that one.
Wave at that one. Okay.
Well,